And welcome to this episode of the Super Metroid Randomizer Speedgaming Live Online 2023 tournament. And my name is Evan Cartridge, and with me is a real cutie. How are you doing, cutie?
I'm doing good. It's a nice, fine morning. Looking forward to some good Super Metroid Randomizer content here on Speed Gaming 2.
Yep. On your left, we've got Fringo Fox. On your right, Idlechild, and they're going to be competing in. I believe this is winners round one. Yeah. So
Correct. Yep.
yeah. So it's a double elimination bracket. 32 participants. This is winners round one, so this will be a best of one race. And yeah, let's get into it. Cutie, you want to describe the mode?
Yep. So this mode is major minor item randomization, meaning that E-tanks and upgrade items such as beams, suits, reserves, movement items are all going to be mixed within each other. And then everything else is going to be ammo, such as power bombs, missiles, and supers. There's also full area randomization, which means there's portals in every area that will then randomly link to another portal in a different area. And finally, this mode has boss shuffle, meaning that all the bosses are shuffled up and cannot just be purely vanilla. This adds some interesting depth to the seed because it slows it down a little bit, and in slowing down the seeds a little bit, it makes certain plays a lot more viable. Suitless Meridias can become more viable. Variolous LNs become a lot more viable, especially if Ridley isn't there. It makes it significantly easier. So it adds a layer to this mode that makes it a little bit slower and really benefits runners who are very experienced with a lot of randomizer tech you might not see in other modes.
Yeah, it's a really complex mode. There's a lot of difficult decision making that has to be considered um, when you're playing this mode. Just like choosing which areas to do first and in what order, and just what stuff to do, um, is a lot more difficult. And there's also some like different skips can become more viable, and just you play the game a lot differently than in standard major minor no area no boss, which is what a lot of people are used to.
Mm-hmm. And so here we don't have power bombs, so neither of them can go check the meme route portal. And exactly, the decision making in this can get very deep and layered even. Oftentimes, the way you want to be thinking is you would like to be thinking ahead in the sense that if you're checking an area, you kind of want to be thinking about what your plan is depending on what portal you find here or what items you find here. For example, you could get into a situation where, okay, my plan is to do this, but then I found this item here, which changes my plan because of factors X, Y, and Z kind of thing. And that is a lot more common in a mode like this, with portals and the map kind of being randomized, than a vanilla map mode where, for the most part, how the order you do stuff in doesn't change that much.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, just to, to talk about the actual game for us, we got Morph. Obviously, we got two super packs, which means we won't be able to check the Retro Red portal early, which is a shame, but that's how it is. But yeah, ordering in this mode does sometimes matter because you have to worry about um like where does this portal take you, and then like how you can be done with something and then be in a more advantageous spot to start the next thing, and just do your routing in a really efficient way, and then you can and also you want to try to avoid having to do major backtracks to an area. So like if you find Turian at the back of LN, knowing that that's there can be an advantage, because then you know you really want to put off lower R for as long as possible. Or like if you find Turing at the back of Rex ship and then you get owned because you went there before you got all four bosses down, then that's a time loss, and then you know that.
Mm-hmm. The best way I've seen this mode described is other modes you're looking for specific items to beat the game. this mode, you're looking for some combination of items that lets you beat the game. And I think
I agree.
a good way to play it is you kind of start from I'm going to check everything, and as you get more items, you start to check less, and until you've reached a point where you can beat the game, and then you kind of just go beat the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, you start out checking everything, and then, Fringo's gonna not check this bottom portal here. The runners didn't have power arms, so they were forced to go into the crab portal in Criteria, which took them into Green Brinstar. Idle's gonna do this portal. I would definitely be doing this portal, especially early, because portal knowledge is just so valuable.
Portal knowledge is extremely valuable. I've noticed a lot of players will skip this portal when they find it at the middle, but if this is like a business center or even here,
Yeah. So
without power bombs, and so we know that power bombs are not in Green Brim. But so I don't know if I'd be thinking about it as idle, but without power bombs, I think it's very worthwhile to check alpha power bombs here.
Yeah, I would definitely be checking alpha PBs there, because you've already skipped 2 spots in Green Brim, and
oh, there's the top.
Ooh, okay. That's really nice for Idle.
That's actually better. I wouldn't even go back for alpha power bombs at this point.
Oh no. Well, that's an extra elevator ride, so that's silly.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so Fringo got more stuff in, but it didn't help him really. So, and Idle will very likely be able to wrap that in later. And Fringo also not going to check alpha PB is interesting. But now Fringo going to go up through, and we'll just be a little bit behind Idle on the routing.
Yeah, and the big thing is about that bottom portal is I have seen a lot of players who like to skip it if they come out in the middle, and in general, I think that it's better to check it just because, yeah, it does really stink if you have to run back, and then if that's the portal you end up leaving out too, it's just a lot of extra traversal time. However, that being said, there are so many situations, especially this early, with how many portals you're missing, where not having that portal can get really bad, because it can put you in, like, if it's a Turian or a Kraid, it's bad, but even if it's like a front of Lower Norfair that you might not necessarily need, you could get put in a situation where you go out the front of Lower Norfair because you don't know it, and then you just end up in a really bad spot of the map.
Yeah. Like, finding bad portals is still useful. Like, sometimes people think, oh, I found front of LN, this sucks, I just wasted time. Like, yeah, you in the immediate term you wasted time, but in the long term, you will probably save some time by not having to worry about going out the front of LN later, and you know that either like, you know where one side of a boss area is, and that's pretty important knowledge.
Yeah, the boss areas having, other than Kraid being a dead end, of course, only having a front and a back makes them very important to, you want to be able to find both sides, because there's plenty of situations where you might feel like you have to go out the front of one, or like you have to go out the back of an East Meridia without Dragon Dead possibly, and then it just takes you to Green Brinstar, really far away from everything else.
Yeah.
And that's just, it doesn't feel very good to then wasted the time and then get taken out into a worse portal. So it just makes a lot of sense to want to be checking those, even if you run into a situation in the pure end game where it's like 50-50 front of LN's Turian for you because you wasted that time, or because you didn't waste that time to check the portal at the beginning, is really big. And with so many available situations like that, due to it being the beginning of the game, I think that portal knowledge is just really big.
Yeah, I agree. And also about boss areas, like, most of them have a good side and a back side. LN, it's the back. Wreck Ship, it's the front. East Meridia, it's complicated depending on whether Dragon's dead or not. But yeah. So, like, even if you find the bad side of an area, you can still try to find the good side later or something. And having that portal knowledge just helps with that.
Yep,
Now, in other
exactly.
news, the runners have found Gravity Suit at Etiquette's E-Tank, and then Idle just finding Space Jump now at Wavegate, which Fringo will be shortly behind too. But yeah, not much divergence since finding top of Green Brinstar. Idle
Which
making
makes
up
sense.
which makes sense. Idle making up one of the both of the minor checks that Fringo did in Green Brinstar, Pink Brinstar. So he lost a little bit of time to that, but still in the lead at the moment, just on routing.
Yep, generally seeds where you don't get a way to head left are going to be kind of linear at the beginning because there's only one portal you can take out of criteria, and you need to find power bombs somewhere. So especially if that portal leads you into a green Brinstar, everyone's going to be doing that because you just don't have anything to do.
Yeah. So I like this play from Idle going back into criteria. You got a bunch of majors in criteria, and you also have 3 portals you can get to fairly quickly.
Yep. The other thing I like about this is with Gravity Suit. So the criteria majors cannot be suits. So they are generally like weaker, so to speak, than other majors. However, I think the criteria majors with Gravity Suit become stronger because with Gravity Suit, E-tanks become more valuable to potentially allow you to skip Various Suit in Lower Norfair.
Yeah, and since they can't be Varia, they are by definition they are more likely to be everything else.
Correct. Yep.
Everything else helps you skip Varia with the potential exception of a couple items. But yeah, Idle finding West Meridia at Modor, and
I
Fringo
like
is
this follow.
making the different play to go down Red Tower, finds Crab Hole in the middle of Red Tower.
Yep,
So,
and another reason I like this from Idle is that kind of the way Red Tower is, you can kind of split areas, that are like hub areas. For instance, you can kind of split Red Tower into 2 pretty effectively. Sometimes it can bite you, but there are a lot of situations where you can split Red Tower into 2 and not check it all at once, and be very rewarded for that. So obviously, since it has a lot of portals, it can also be very beneficial with 2 majors as well to just get here and get these items and get all this information as well. But sometimes it might be a little bit more efficiently to split it up. It looks like IO found Business Center and then found West Criteria here, which is good, and then which gets you this major really quick.
Yeah, we found a billion transitions in the last 30 seconds, so here we go. So
Yeah.
our tracker takes a little bit to update it fully.
Yep.
But yeah, Idle probably gonna do Business Center here. I don't really see a world where you don't do Business Center.
Yeah. Even with other portals or a Red Tower available, I'm definitely a C Business Center, do Business Center proponent myself. I think the only because if there's a place you would like to get back to after that, Business Center can be seen as distinct from the rest of Upper Norfair unless you possibly have a speed booster. And even then, obviously, the elevator ride is going to be faster than getting back here from anywhere else. So this is as close as you're going to be to it ever, really.
Yeah.
So it just really makes sense to do it when you find it because you're never going to be closer, most likely, unless you have to do a weird backtrack. And there's very few items here that would lead you away from what you were planning to do before you found this anyway. So it's kind of just its own little area for 2 items, and then you leave a lot of the time. So I think it's always a good idea to do it when you find it personally.
Yeah, there's very, very few scenarios where you find Business Center and then don't want to do it. Because like you said, it's 2 majors for fairly little time cost as well. So
And there's 2 ammo pickups in the high jump area as well.
Yep. And then if you really need one, there's one at Crumble Shaft, but most don't do that.
Yeah, that can be good if you find speed boost. If you do high jump first, looking for an E-tank and find speed booster, that can be pretty good because it can route you into Croc Portal before doing Bubble Mountain kind of thing.
Yeah, like you said, the only 2 items you can find here that will probably take you away from what you were doing is variant speed. That's pretty much it.
Hmm. So Fringo is going to find the moat portal here, which is really good for him. I think if you ever abandon a portal in Criteria like the moat portal, because generally the Criteria portals get paired together, other than meme route. But since they didn't have power bombs here, being able to find this is really good for Fringo because he probably then feels like he's not going to get punished for going to Red Tower instead of coming through Criteria, which is a good thing for him. That portal could have been some very useful knowledge for Idle later.
Yeah, like we said, it's the new bridge problem where checking it's slow, but having the knowledge is super good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And of course, since it is randomizer, sometimes that knowledge is more beneficial, and sometimes it is just a dead time loss. It really kind of depends on the way the connections go and stuff. But generally, I think wanting to play efficiently is the way you'd like to go. You don't want to put yourself in bad situations, basically.
Yeah, I'm trying for this unmorph. Unfortunately, it only works Sulis. So we'll have to follow.
One thing I've found with space jump that what you can do, or even without space jump, what you can do is if you wall jump, it really screws the door. But if you wall jump off the inside of the door frame and just like tap jump, you can get a wall jump off of a pretty high part of the fish tank wall right there. I'm actually not sure if it's faster because of how it screws the door. It definitely feels faster, but
yeah.
Also, I like this farm from Fringo. If that's like a single chamber
Well, we
or
already
a
know where
lava dive portal.
we already know where single chamber is. It's at
Okay.
Main Street. Fringo knows that.
Okay, I didn't see that. Yeah, but if that's an Upper Norfair, a croc portal, or a lava dive portal, you'd like to be full.
Yeah. I think Fringo is potentially farming for a cathedral hell run.
Oh, possibly yes, or this ice beam one as well. I didn't realize he hadn't done the business center yet.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it could be either of those.
Yep.
Idle also now finding that, and now Idle's gonna find middle of Red Tower, but it'll be at the end of this like Criteria Business Center West Meridia cleanup loop. So I'll be in a good spot to continue, to continue his route by going down to Red Tower, going down to the bottom of Red Tower. Whereas Fringo will probably want to. He'll probably want to be doing Cathedral Hell Run, which sucks, but it's not super bad. Actually, it kind of is, but it's not the worst thing in the world because he does have the resources for it. Just needs to find. I don't know. Like he wants to have like another E tank. I don't know. Was high jump an E tank?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Because they have the same number. And Fringo got no, it was. It definitely was. Because they have the same number right now, and Fringo got one here at X-ray. So high jump is definitely an E-tank.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, so Fringo is going to be in good shape for the Cathedral Hell Run. Idle will be in good shape for like a Croc Door or Chronic Boost Hell Run if he finds that later. But
did Fringo go down? Okay, so Fringo grabbed the X-ray tank and then went to the middle portal through. Okay.
Yeah, he went through the middle portal, did West Meridia, and then did Criteria after that.
Yeah, so
did Criteria, then West Meridia, and Business Center there, and then is now doing Red Tower at the end of his West Meridia stuff. So,
yep, and yeah, so this is kind of, as you were saying, you're kind of getting coerced into making different plays in this situation just because of the different order you check stuff in. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because doing stuff in different orders in the area can often come out to just being equal, just because of like the way the map can go and stuff. So it's not necessarily an advantage for one player or the other.
Yeah, this is just these two players are in different situations right now because of their routing. Like
Mm-hmm.
neither one of them is like objectively ahead right now.
Yep. And even if, for instance, Fringo finds something here in Bubble Mountain, it doesn't even necessarily mean that he's ahead either, because Idle has this portal knowledge that he doesn't right now, and that can be useful later and stuff like that, because Idle is still progressing by doing this. So that's the one thing about area is not always the person who finds the stuff right away doesn't always necessarily have a lead because of that, because knowledge can also be very big. And Idle also has a chance to get to this stuff with more health, which will make it faster as well.
Yeah, so Idle finding Croc door in Upper Norfair, and then also finding Croc itself here, is just going to do Croc now without checking the final portal.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's like not the worst thing in the world because again, you're looking for either Varia or stuff to skip Varia. So
Yeah,
like yeah,
exactly.
either scenario, Croc's not super bad.
And you feel fine about E-tanks here, honestly.
Yeah, like I would be fine in Isle scenario about going into Upper Norfair here from Croc door,
Mhm.
but at the same time, he has a Crystal Flash but doesn't have the missiles for it, so I would want to do Croc so I can get that farm. Ooh, there's Charge. That's huge.
Charge beam, that's pretty big.
Yeah,
The other thing is, I think you do want to check the grapple beam item here.
agreed.
Maybe that's me playing a bit safe, but like you're missing plasma and screw attack, which are just hallmarks of the variolous Lower Norfair.
Yeah, no, I think Grapple's absolutely correct because like you can find Grapple, Screw, or Plasma, which also helps your beam. Ice, which also helps your beam.
And then
There's
the
just
E-tank's
yeah.
not even bad
Yeah, like
because
an
of
E
the.
tank, also helps with the various skip. So like
Hmm.
they're like the worst thing you can find is bombs, which does also help your power bomb management in LN. And then
Yeah,
like
bombs are an underrated variolous LN item, actually, just because there's 5 power bombs you have to use kind of to like get through everything if you don't have bombs.
yeah, like and also there's like just a bajillion years in lag, which you save by having bombs, but it's not that's probably not worth it on its own. But
And of course, any
uh,
movement item is sick here as well. Speed
yeah,
booster, high jump boots,
yeah,
like
pretty much
there's
anything you find here is good.
yeah. Since he has a reserve, you feel a little bit worse about a reserve, but
Yeah, like that's an E tank, and that's fine.
yeah,
Like,
that'll make these hell runs that Fringo is doing a lot easier for him, and generally faster because of that.
agreed. I would be checking this miner. With 15 missiles, I think you still want to check on-screen miners just to get to like 25
Yeah,
or 30.
yeah, I can definitely agree there. Especially if you're thinking variolous Lower Norfair right here, you don't want to be hamstrung by your missiles.
Yeah, like
This.
NST like this, like it's easy to be hamstrung by your missiles, like you said, for
Mhm.
just because of your count. I might have farmed the full sweepers
Yeah, I don't
because
know. If he's expecting to do Upper Norfair right here, he's probably going to get to them at the speed booster farm
fair point.
anyway.
Yeah,
But
you're probably right.
I will say it does make your speed booster farm less efficient to not be full because you end up losing more health because you're farming for supers while you're losing that health.
Okay, this is a big decision for Idle, and he picks up an order. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Keith.
that's a hard one to make because that front portal can also just be a really bad portal for you right now that you don't want to do yet. Like if it's a back of Lower Norfair, like with the portals that we have left, it's either East Meridia, back of Lower Norfair, Kraid, or Turian.
Yeah, like
Or
there's
Lava
a
Dive,
yeah,
I
there's a
suppose.
lot of bad scenarios for that front portal, so I think leaving it is probably the
Hmm.
correct decision. And also he didn't farm the full supers. Like Zeb said in chat, that portal is why you want full supers. You definitely check this portal first.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, definitely that portal is the reason to farm to full supers, but I don't. I there's still so much that is bad out the front that I don't I don't know even if you were full supers if you do it
Yeah.
in this specific situation, but yeah, definitely. Ammo management in area, since you don't know what's coming up, being able to manage your ammo is and your health as well. Your health is a resource too. Being able to manage them is very key, I think, to separating player skill. You can save a lot of time by making sure that you're in a really good situation at all times.
Yeah, huge agree that like ammo management is a thing that separates good runners from great runners. Um, just having like making sure you have what you need later is super important, especially when you have like stuff like Ridley at Wreck Ship, or when you're doing various LN, or even like preparing for East Meridia. Like there's a lot of scenarios where you need to like take care of your ammo and you don't like have a great farm spot there, so you really need to like have it beforehand. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looks like Fringo found the chronic boost portal and went to back of LN. So Idle will probably find that after all these checks. And I do like picking that missile up. I said it earlier, but I do think that's correct.
I agree. You don't want to be hamstrung by your missiles for crystal flashes.
Yeah, you really want like 30 missiles at minimum if you're going to do various LN and Rando.
Mm-hmm.
I would pick that up.
I would pick up those power bombs even, but Idle might not be thinking about Variolous Ellen yet at this point.
Yeah, might
And
just be
that's
thinking about Varia.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's so you have the front of LN. He doesn't have the back yet, but if you have the front of LN, you absolutely can skip Varia. The seeds where you cannot skip Varia, realistically, are where the front of LN is Creator Turian, or it connects to something like East Meridia that connects to Creator Turian.
Yeah,
If you're required to do the amphitheater dive, those are the seeds where Varia is nearly required. Just because it's going to be better to get it in any situation other than
like Varia Shackle or something, and you
mm-hmm.
don't know it. I will say I think the same do you think the same thing applies to you have front of LN and Craze at the back?
That is a little bit different. It depends on if Kraid is dead yet, in my opinion. Just because like you can like the Kraid area, I think of it as if Kraid is dead is the perfect place to farm for crystal flashes. You have the B-toms for power bombs, you have mini Kraid for supers, you have health and missile refills. But it's still reverse acid dive still requires so much stuff that Varia needs to be in specific bad spots for it to be like worthwhile.
Yeah, and Frigga with all upper warfare stuff done, now finds the back of Wreck Ship in a better spot and like with more stuff done, so he's able to do this now.
Yeah, skipped Croc for it though.
Yeah, he did. So he will not be getting charged unless he does Croc later. But yeah, ammo isn't looking super bad in this.
Yeah, but
scene.
it doesn't. But that can also just be deceptive because there are a limited number of super missiles, and if it is you can have seeds where like there are very few supers that just all happen to be at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree about that. I might not have picked that power bomb up, but it's fine. Like after 30, I think you definitely skip. 25.
If without bombs, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Without bombs, I think it's fine, and especially because it's in the same room and you already used all the time to go get there. I think, yeah, I don't mind getting to 30 myself. Just 7 seconds for potential safety if you do a variolous LN, I don't think is a terrible trade.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think it's the worst thing, but I tend to be a bit more aggressive with that stuff.
So yeah,
welcome to Dragon.
Yep, welcome to Dragon. So where does this connect? This has to connect Kraid, East Meridia, or Meme Route? Yeah. No, yeah. No,
this can be East Meridia because then the back would be.
Yeah. Kraid, East Meridia, or Meme Route, or Turian, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it can be anything. I forgot we haven't found Turian yet.
Yeah, we got the two.
Oh, you're right. It can't
Two
connect to
dead
Meme
ends.
Route. That's what I was thinking. Because you're missing both sides of East Meridia, and
Yeah.
then the two. Yep. So it can't connect to East Meridia.
No, it can connect to East Meridian, but it can't connect to me. It cannot connect to Mimra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, nice grapple quick kill for Dragon, and Fringo finds ice behind Dragon, so it's pretty good. Ice helps him in East Meridia, but we won't be fighting Boston anyway because Fringo has Dragon dead.
Definitely.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's just the Metroid's time save. Unless Idle puts Wreckship off for forever.
I don't think Idle will. I think this is the situation where you kind of just have to, because like, what other portals you gonna go? You gonna try Veryless LN with no bosses dead?
Yeah, I think that'd be a bit silly, but
especially without Screw or Plasma.
Yeah, no Screw Plasma means
with this scenario, a Ridley is doable if you had like a Screw attack. I think without a Screw attack, it's insane. But if you had a Screw attack, Ridley's technically doable because of that grapple beam. But it's kind of sketchy with only 20 power bombs. It'd be kind of dependent on what ammo you can find in LN.
Yeah, I wouldn't love an LN here. Idle did check the Chronic Boost portal, right?
Yes, that's a good question. I didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay, so Fringo finds back of East Meridia here at front of Wreckship. This is awesome. He has Dragon dead, so he can do all the things. Oh wait, no, he can't. Fringo can't get out of Plasma. Okay, so Idle's charge is actually super massive here.
It can be, yeah.
It could be if he decides to check Plasma, which is a time sink. It's like I would say it's about 2 minutes since you have to spend time to do the slower Plasma exit with pseudo screws. But
yeah, but yeah, I with both sides of LN found, Idle's not even saving here, right? Like this is just such a comfortable situation.
Yeah, this is like free.
And with both sides of LN found, I don't know if you even want to check the Plasma Beam location, honestly. I mean, it's hard to say though.
The only real thing that like saves you time there is going to be Varia. Since he already has charge, Plasma might be worth it. Like Plasma Screw speed might be worth it. Plasma Screw for LN, and then speed for everything. But at the same time, I don't know if it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, the hard part is if Ridley isn't there, if you have enough energy tanks and crystal flashes at that point, you can do it without Plasma or Screw. It's just a lot harder.
Yeah, exactly. Idle is using a couple supers on this fight, which is probably fine, but he doesn't want to get them too low.
Yep, in case he finds a Ridley.
Yeah, in case he finds a Ridley here.
Yep, and yeah, so what happened to Idle is my least favorite part about Dragon quick grapple on this is if you jump in the air and get hit by another goo, you just fall back down so you can't manip Dragon to get the fast grapple kill.
Yeah, does manage to avoid getting spanked too much, and will get the kill, and there's the refill before Dragon, so not the worst thing in the world.
It's Fantoon here. So I think this is a scenario that will separate a runner looking for Varia and a runner who isn't. Because I think a runner who is happy with trying to skip Varia is probably not going to go back to Wreckship. Depending on what... Well, actually, you're going to have to. Because this has to be a dead end at the end of this here, doesn't it? So you're going to have to go back anyway.
Yeah, like you said, if you're looking for Varia, you might go back to Wreckship, but this could be like a Turian here, and then you'll find Varia in Wreckship later. But
yeah, well, you're gonna have to regardless, because if it's Kraid, then
yeah.
I I don't. So the way this map has worked out, I think if you're either player, you don't care which one this is. Just because, I mean, because realistically, the situations where they could have checked beam route were so bad.
Yeah, like you
Um,
had criteria, you were crossing criteria earlier, but like you had so much available at that point that it would just be so silly to check meme route. So if Craig's at meme route, it's fine. It's not the biggest deal.
yeah, yep. Because like it's just not. There was a qualifier with something similar to this, but I think in that qualifier there was situations where you would possibly check a meme route in them. But in this seed, there was just too much to do at any given time to want to use that time to check for meme route because it's such a slow portal to check if you can't check it at the beginning. So like I don't think either player feels bad about finding Turian at the other side of East Merdia because just realistically speaking, I don't think it's expected that, especially in a 1v1, that either player. Okay, so there's Varia.
Okay, so now Idle's charge will start to save him time. Because
Yep.
Fringo's still gonna make those checks for ammo.
Yep.
But once Idle finds that Varia, he's completely good. He doesn't need to. He
Yep.
doesn't really need to check anything except for like free lasers.
Yep, and this is where the charge is going to be.
But do you think it's gonna be enough?
I think it might, because Fringo's not been picking up missiles. It seems like, and maybe there just haven't been very many. There has been a lot of power bombs, like 25, 40. Like you see 40, and you're like, oh, like really good on super missiles, but there's not a lot left.
Yeah,
You
this
know?
is like a kind of an awkward. Ooh, Idle checking this before the boss. I don't particularly. Okay, Printer gives up a snow clip, which is fun. Snow clip plugs. Is Idle? I think Idle just knows that he has to go back through here, and with Dragon Dead is willing to take that risk.
Yep. Do the portal first.
Yeah. And then now, since he's got charge, if like plasma shows up or even plasma plus X-ray for him, then he can save time on Phantom with a microwave later. He'll be able to get the left sandpit check and going back. So Idle putting Phantom off will probably save him time. Well, I don't know if it will save him time in the seed specifically, but it has the potential to save him time.
Yeah, because he's also like Fringo had to use some time to heal before the Ridley fight, or the potential Ridley fight there and such.
Yeah, and Idle will be able to figure that out that it isn't Ridley there.
Yeah,
but on the flip side of that, Idle might spend time farming for Ridley.
Well, there is also the point of you can just straight up skip the boss here and get it on the way back, like after you've done crate area and stuff, basically.
Yeah, both runners now know that crate is at meme route. Blah. I can't talk.
Yeah.
Once
I don't mind checking left sandpit here because you're falling down a sandpit regardless, but right sandpit is faster to do, so but not by like that much. It's just like a couple seconds faster. So I don't mind checking left here even though you're in go mode.
Yeah, I might in Fringo's scenario I might do right sandpit, but
for ammo instead. Yes, that's exactly what I would do. Yep.
Yeah, but it's like it feels scary because most people do left sandpit, and you don't want to get owned by a charge speed plasma anything in there.
Yeah, the thing is like the only thing I think that owns you is like a speed or a charge.
Oh no. Is Idle gonna go kill Phantom now?
I don't think that's terrible, but I definitely think it's better to save it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's terrible. It's not like the end of the world, but I think it's definitely better to have saved it at this point if you skipped it.
Yeah, I think this is not my favorite thing in the world.
Because I also think with your ammo and your charge beam that if you were gonna do this boss, you should have just gone through Batoon. Instead of getting sandpit. That being said, I think the charge beam is going to be a lot. This ammo is not good right
Yeah.
now with how late the ammo is looking good early, but like power bombs just kept showing up. Like this ammo situation is not good.
Yeah.
And
this-
Fringo might even start checking majors for charge.
Yeah, and he won't find it, which really sucks. I will say this will allow Idle to get the Rextra E-Tank check in if he wants to. I might not check it though. Just 'cause
There's so few like speed booster.
yeah.
That's like plasma, but
Speed
like
plasma, that's it.
your ammo is so good that like your ammo is so good for this beam combo that like even finding a plasma, it's dubious whether or not it saves time even because you're gonna want because like supers are still faster on Ridley and it saves like barely any shots on Mother Brain with how many supers you have.
Yeah. It's just not great EV because when E-Tanks stop helping you, majors get so less valuable. Like obviously they're still gonna be worth it, but
Yeah.
like
So like I don't think I think even like a plasma at Wreckship E is like dubious time save.
yeah, it's definitely not going to be more than like 10-15 seconds. It's going to be your Ellen isn't like total shambles.
The big thing about checking the majors while in ammo hunt is they don't progress your ammo hunt. So
Yeah.
you're looking for literally charge.
Yeah, like everything else you find is nice, but it's not helping you directly. So it sucks.
Yeah. So like the only things that help Fringo right now are speed and charge, and then the only thing that helps helps idle is speed, really.
Yeah.
Mainly. Like plasma is nice, but depending on where it is, if you have to check more than one major to have found that plasma beam, it's slower to have checked to find it. Which is like the situation, right? Where it's that like kind of gambler's fallacy that you get into and you can trick yourself into, where it's like, oh, but if I find plasma here, it's faster to have checked it. But it's like, yeah, but if like you've checked 3 majors at this point and you've already lost more time than it would have been if you just found, you know what I mean? Like you lost so much time that even if you find plasma, it's slower than having just checked none of them.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's a little bit different with charge beam, but it's one major that you're looking for with charge beam. So like the majors don't progress your ammo hunt really. I don't mind checking, like for instance, if they hadn't done business center yet and they find their way to business center, high jump has 2 miners in it that are fast. I don't mind checking the major there as much. It still is slow, and realistically, you should probably just get the miners and high jump and leave. But like, if you can pair it with a couple of miners, it's not terrible. Like if Wreckship Reserve, or not Wreckship Reserve, sorry, if Norfair Reserve wasn't checked yet, that's a fine major to check as well.
Yep. Yeah, on a different topic, after Fringo does Ellen, because he's going to back of Ellen here, do you think he goes up front of Ellen to be right in criteria? I think that might be a good call for him.
Where else do you get to criteria?
You probably go to Business Center and then
yeah, Business Center connects, doesn't it? So it's Business Center, you back to Business Center. With this beam, you can do the Frog Speedway stuff. The front is a lot slower than you think because it does not end at the elevator. You still have to go through a lot of times. The front of LN is like a couple minutes. This is an interesting one because I think it's close, genuinely.
Yeah, I don't think this is like a bad race at all. This is very interesting.
Yeah, well, also the late game routing to crate is also close.
Yep. Yeah, like they're gonna be on the same route for the rest of the game.
Yeah, like because I feel like going
out
out the front of LN feels close to me to just going through Business Center because like so you're not saving an elevator, right? And then the front of LN on this equipment is also really slow with no good way to like kill Deskigas in Mickey Mouse. And generally speaking, you want to go through Mickey Mouse if you can. It is just better. it it gets tricky and slow. Especially Fringo wants to go through Mickey Mouse for the minor item, right? The ammo. So it's I think it's close whether going back out the back or going out the front is better here. If they didn't have a way through Frog Speedway, possibly not. I guess they could just go through Croc Escape for a minor as well. So maybe it is just better to go out the back. And here's where all the missiles seem to be.
Croc Escape is still losing. Actually, oh yeah, no, they can. No, Croc Escape is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have to like go out of their way. They can just go through new tower refill and stuff.
Yep, exactly. So like I think it's close either way. I think, and this is just to me, I think I underestimate how much the front of LN actually takes. Because I like get to the elevator, I'm just like, cool, I'm through the front of LN, and then I get to the top, I'm like, oh yeah, I still have to do lava dive.
Yeah. Yeah, like lava dive's another good like 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's just such a slow room.
Yeah. And like nobody
Not so bad with space jump, no speed. It's not so bad, but it's still just like really, really funny.
Yeah, like this is really good equipment for lava dive, like for reverse lava dive, but it's still slow.
So Idle is doing Kraid first. I actually think this changes the calculus a little bit because I think front to back LN might be good after out of Kraid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't hate this.
I don't hate this because I think front to back LN is better than back to front.
Oh yeah, for sure agree with that. Also, Croc Escape did have a super, so Fringo might potentially look at that.
Yep, and as it has been pointed out too, Kraid first puts you closer to Turing at the end of the loop in general. I mean, it essentially they're just going through the loop in different ways, like in reverse ways kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like they're probably pretty equal. It's just that I think front to back LN's faster than back to front. So I think that's going to make up some time, assuming that that is what Idle does. Idle could always do back-to-back LN, but then you're going through Cathedral, and that just feels really slow.
Yeah, I mean, Cathedral's technically faster than Frog Speedway, according to Prof. Ooh, there's high jump behind Ridley.
Ooh, okay, that doesn't change that much. It's, you know.
It just speeds up everything Fringo does by a tiny bit.
Definitely. And, like, it's a comfort thing, too. High jump is very comfortable. It's going to speed up the acid dive if Fringo decides to do back to front Lower Norfair. In Fringo's situation, I actually don't mind doing LN first, mainly because it has faster ammo to check. And it's ammo that you're going to want to check regardless, so it can kind of inform what ammo you want to get in Criteria. Like, you go to meme route, if Criteria just doesn't have much, and you're just kind of in a weird situation where it's like, do I check Billy Mays? Right?
Yeah.
You'd rather have the LN ammo information first, kind of thing.
You just want to know everything you can.
Yeah, so like I don't mind doing it this way from Fringo. It's just probably slightly slower in terms of map movement, but I don't think it's necessarily worse for Fringo to have done for knowledge.
Yeah, for sure.
And like this is like the kind of calculus that can go into this mode, right? Where it's like, I think doing LN after Kraid is probably just better, generally speaking, but because Fringo doesn't have that charge beam, doing it first has the potential to have been better for him because you have more information on faster ammo.
Yeah, and then you can make the calls, slower ammo, etc., etc.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So like these are the kind of things that would go into like how you make your decisions when you play this mode, and the kind of the level of depth that you think about this kind of stuff in this mode, which I think is what makes this mode really cool, right? Because I think both players did what was better for them. Yeah, and what's better for them is completely different just because of that charge beam, and like it's like efficient information gathering to try and eliminate having to do slower stuff.
Yeah, and like this, like you said, this is what makes this mode so good competitively. Is there's so much like deep information that you need to be able to parse and like make accurate decisions about, and it's super nice to
Yes,
see like both of these runners making intelligent plays for what they need to do. And
exactly. Yep. And like there's very lot of like uh information theory in a way.
yeah,
It's not one to one to the mathematics of information theory, of course, but like in a way it kind of is, right? You want to try and gain as much information as you can, as efficiently as you can, so that you can start to eliminate having to do bad things.
yeah, yeah. I'm super glad that people have come around on the area since like 2021.
Area, it's like I think it's hard to understand that area is actually very little variance because it feels like very big variance. And to be fair, there are some seeds where it can be
Yep.
just by product of portals.
Yeah.
But
Like
I think in general, area the way it works is you have time to have spent doing stuff that is slow because the seeds are slower, and then there's just more opportunity to like for efficiencies later, and like certain items that you find can cascade in your favor, even if you wasted time doing them that was slow, kind of thing. Just because since you don't know what's coming, you have to be prepared for everything at the same time, which is a lot to manage all at once to do these fast and efficiently.
yeah, and like yeah, there's gonna be the seats that like with Turian behind two boss areas or something that are just gonna be high variance. But on the
Mm-hmm.
whole, area is just going to be less variance than no area because there's no one big decision or three big decisions that make a seed. It's like 15
Yeah.
little decisions
Mm-hmm.
that all play a part, and
Mm-hmm.
like but like you have a chance to work around them and like save something, or I don't know.
Yeah, because
But
so like I think Vanilla Map has a really hard time of balancing wreck ship in a way where like wreck ship is a viable play, but also the decision to do wreck ship doesn't decide the seed immediately.
yeah,
I think it's just
exactly.
the map is just so spread out. Like the vanilla map is just so spread out, and in some ways area condenses the map, but in other ways it spreads it out more. But generally, it spreads it out more in a way that doesn't give a player an advantage necessarily.
Yeah, because you still have to figure it out. And
Yes.
like Chozo Boss, as we saw in League, balances the vanilla map by just making Rekship the absolute worst possible play you could ever imagine of, and
It's
nobody
just
ever.
such a terrible gamble in that mode. Like Vantoon
Yeah,
just has to be vanilla, which is
yeah, and
less
then
than
there
1 in
also has
4.
to be a suit there,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
yeah, it's just
Yep.
such an awful play in that mode.
Yes, it
But
is. Yep.
but it still balances the map, and yeah, it was a very competitive mode, but this just
It,
actually
it,
makes
it
the game
makes
interesting.
it makes it as a randomizer perspective less interesting, and more of the interest in it is how you is as a race and how you gain an edge over an opponent.
Yeah, for sure. And
Because it's all
as
like minor stuff that you're trying to do to gain an edge over an opponent, which also makes it a lot less fun to practice on your own because you're not solving anything and you have no one to compare against, right? You're doing the
yeah,
seed and trying to cut corners in the best way that you can.
yeah, but like at the end of the day, racing people is fun. That's why we're playing the video game.
Yep, exactly. And that's why this tournament's going to be great because I think this has been a really good match, kind of showing a lot of the stuff that goes into playing area.
Yeah.
So, Idle's health.
Well, thank you,
We
Cutie.
know high jumps back here, which
Yeah, hopefully Idol doesn't play like. Surely there will be an E tank behind Ridley. Like, also he's gonna be on zero power bombs, which is fine, but
yeah.
worth pointing out.
And also, yeah, Fringo 3 straight supers is so big for Fringo there.
Yeah, like Freo has the ammo to win the game now. Fight speed! Oh my gosh.
Oh, did Idle not check that?
Nope.
Oh,
I,
that's really sad.
that might be the game.
Because I don't. I mean, so in general, I will check behind like Crate and Ridley, but that's also because I am confident in my movement advantage. In that, if I wasted the time to check that, I can make it up. but like in general, I think it's a waste to check behind bosses while in go mode because that's the only item that helps them in this situation, really.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it is the only item. So like you're wasting like 10 seconds for a 1 in like 10, like however many items are left to check, right? Which is a lot because there's what, like 2 or 3 reserves, like 6 tanks missing, like less than 10% to get an item there that's good, and you're just losing 10 seconds for it. So it's always kind of sad when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Like, you feel
I
bad for
don't
a
think
middle.
it's exactly, because it's kind of like, and that's randomizer.
Yeah. That's gonna be how rando is. But it's also like, man, you don't want to see a race end that way. Like, not to
Yes,
say that the race is over, but the race is kind of over.
it's just, it saves so much time, especially because with the high jump he's gonna be able to do. I don't know if Idle can do nose, baby skip without speed and high jump kind of thing. And if Idle didn't check behind Crate, I guess Idle's probably gonna check here for an E-tank.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if he didn't.
But the speed, it's just that's the only item that helps him.
Yeah.
The only one.
And Idle also skipping behind Ridley, which is fine. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's just sad that it is high jump.
Yeah. Yeah, like, these are very solid skips, but they're just not correct.
I think they're skips that are the correct ones, right?
Yeah.
But it just worked out that the boss was holding your movement care package,
Yeah.
which is just they're bosses that you fight in go mode. We're holding your movement care package, which is just really unfortunate for Idle kind of thing, because I think mathematically speaking it is correct to skip them both.
Yep.
Just like pure mathematics, the odds of you finding something that help you are so low that like wasting the time to check it is not good. But that is randomizer at the end of the day.
Yep.
Okay, 60 and 60. Fringo is now good on ammo.
Yeah. Yeah, Fringo's not just in can win the game. Fringo's in can comfortably win the game at this point.
Yep.
He's got, like, I think, like 3 missiles of leeway with no refills. I think that's around about right.
The way I do it, it's probably not the best way to do it. I just go 15, subtract 15 and 10, so what, 45, 50, which is enough because you need 30 missiles to make up. So has 15 extra missiles if he doesn't super any doors, so 5 extra supers.
Yeah.
Right? 45 and 40, 45 and 50. Yeah, 45, 50 is like 5 extra, because 45, 45 is minimum.
Yeah, it's 15 extra with no refills.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's super comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, Fringo shouldn't be checking anything at this point. He got the biggest reward he could possibly be getting, so he just needs to be skipping everything here. And like now we see Fringo's just first into wreck ship. So yeah. It's pretty over. It's not gonna be first by all that much, because Idle is just like 2 area transitions away that are both pretty quick. But Fringo's got the movement item advantage, and he also has a buttload of ammo, so it's like KGG.
Yeah, exactly. The speed as well is just going to save so much time in Turian. Like, just in the escape alone, it saves a lot of time.
Yeah, isn't that like 20, 30 seconds?
Something like that. It's being able to spark Zeba's escape is just so much time.
Escape, baby skip. They both have a zap skip, so like speed isn't huge for that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, It's rando.
Yep, that's how it goes sometimes.
Oh, Fringo going for the Mappo Spark, even though he has Space Jump? Aw.
Probably realized it.
Yeah. Did bonk the ceiling, though, but that's a sick map. Oh, wait, no, he doesn't even have the health for it.
Probably was just getting blue in case of the Evir.
Makes sense.
I actually wonder with Speed Booster would have been. Oh no, because he didn't end up killing Batuin. I still wonder with Speed Booster if it would have been faster to go through Cack Alley with this loadout that Fringo has. Because you would just take the Sandfall into like the room before Cack Alley.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Cack Alley's probably faster. Like, it seems faster to me, but...
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's one of those things that there's never a situation in vanilla where that comes up, so people have not gone out and timed it, because it's one of those things that comes up so rarely that
Yeah, and this stuff literally does not exist in vanilla because
exactly
of how area works.
Exactly.
Yeah, assuming Fringo doesn't have the worst Turian of all time with all the items ever, he'll be taking the win on this race, and we'll be facing the winner of Zeb and Iron Musty, which is later today.
Yep, which is in an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, I think it's like 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Yep, hour and a half here.
And
because
then
of the 10-minute delay, so...
Yeah. Yeah, and then Idle will be facing the loser of that match in the loser's bracket, because this is a double elimination tournament.
Yes. Very excited about that. Very excited to get to best of threes.
Yeah,
it's going to be such a good tournament.
Yeah, best of threes. I said it a billion times. I wish I could make this tournament all best of threes, but we just don't have the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a shame, but if you're going to make it best of ones, you have to do it at the beginning. Just moving from best of three to best of three to best of one just seems completely silly.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad we're able to start doing best of threes early. As early as round 2. Honestly, I think the more best of threes, the better, because it is randomizer, and also I think you play best of threes differently as a higher seeded player than a best of one.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, you can play best of threes more like an actual, like, you don't have to play super safe as a higher seeded player.
Exactly. Like, you want to play them as efficiently as possible, and as you would play them against an equal skilled opponent.
Yeah,
because
really nice.
you like, it's very unlikely you get spiked twice on something silly.
Yeah, like, obviously it can happen, but you try not to let it happen.
Yep, and then in the best of one, is really hard to balance because, you know, as it's hard to balance for both sides, right? Because as a lesser player, as the lower seed rather, not a lesser player, as the lower seed is what I mean. Everyone in this tournament is important, and I cherish them all. As the lower seed, you want to kind of play aggressive, and as the higher seed, you want to play safe. But then there's also this weird like middle ground where, as a lower seed, you could just play straight up and hope that the higher seed plays too safe, possibly, kind of thing. And so like there's this little dance there with that, because like as the higher seed in a best of one, you don't want to lose to something silly. That that you could have done extra over your opponent and still felt like that even with that time loss that you took being safe, you still win, kind of thing. So it's really spooky in that situation. But then as the lower player, like what gives you the best chance of winning? It really depends on if you feel like you need to play aggressive or you think maybe your opponent might just play overly safe because they're scared, kind of thing. So best of ones just can get really tricky with the calculus of how you want to play them.
Yeah, for sure. And then that's also why to like higher seeds, it's so important to get a super high seed, because you really want a opponent you can just beat every single time.
Yeah,
yes,
I think your seed matters a lot less once you get to the best of threes.
Agreed. Because in best of threes, it's just going to be better player wins most of the time.
Yep, and you have the chance to, just play everyone, because especially because in a randomizer tournament with qualifiers, the seeds aren't going to break down in a way that someone would necessarily going through the list and seeding by hand would break them down.
Yeah, and like
Eddie would be the 30. Like if I were doing this, Eddie would be the 32 seed kind of thing. Nebdi would be 31.
Right?
Yep. And instead they're 9 and 3. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, but manually seeding this has never been done to my knowledge, and
it just doesn't work too, because with something like randomizer that is like so subjective. And there's also like people who have been playing this mode a bunch and people who haven't. So like perceptions of some of the people who haven't been playing the mode might have been based on how you felt when you played them before you might have improved a bunch, kind of thing, depending on who's doing the seeding. So it's really hard to just manually seed something as subjective as randomizer.
Yeah, and then of course you can't use race time points because that's stupid.
Race time points are very much benefit people who did really well in an early tournament and had very few races.
Yes.
Compared to like if you're racing people better than you constantly, your points are then like subdued. Like your points are understated, kind of thing. Like if you're racing Zeb constantly, your points are going to be lower than if you just did really well in an early tournament.
Bagel thief. No shit on
Dang,
thief, but...
calling people out? Wow, I wasn't going to say anyone's name.
Hey. Like, Bagel Thief, chill dude, hasn't raced since 2021 to my knowledge. Only ever played SM Rat, to my knowledge. But yeah. Chill dude. Wish he'd stick around. Well, wish he'd come back someday. Join in the area fun. And yeah, D-Web, Zeb was like #1 for a while until he just started racing with all of us and lost 4,000 points.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's kind of because early on, and also I don't know if race time uses like Elo, but it's really hard to do a points thing when you're doing races that aren't 1v1s either.
Yeah. Oh, you meant like 1 seed. Yeah. Like Aussie, like definitely deserving of the 1 seed, but he was gonna be like the 2 seed unless he got literally a 110 on that last qualifier that he did, and then he got 110.
What's really interesting is if Zeb didn't enter that qualifier, the par time changes because there wouldn't have been enough people to use top 5, and Zeb would have retained the 1 seed if he just didn't enter, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Because Aussie needed like a 109.5 to take it, and he did it, because you still have to execute, right? I think
Yeah.
everyone who got the seeds that they got is like deserving of getting that seed, right? Because the way we seeded it was qualifiers. So everyone deserved the seed that they got based on how they played in those qualifiers. So
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, you can complain about luck all you want, but you still have to play the damn game.
exactly.
And yeah, get your GGs in for Fringo Fox finishing in first place with a race time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 13 seconds. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him in for an interview. Yeah, also GG's to Idle, finishing in second with a time of 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 0 seconds. So yeah, Fringo will be moving on to face winner of Zeb and Rusty, and Idle will be dropping down to losers and will be facing the loser of Zeb and Rusty, which will be played at 1:10 p.m. Eastern today. Which channel is that on? Speedgaming 4.
4, yep. And then after that, Eddie versus Digadang, which I don't think it has a restream, unfortunately, but you can still watch it by watching their streams. I highly recommend to watch that.
Yeah.
Eddie's a very good player. And then an hour and a half after that is my match as well. I believe it's on SG6. So there's, in about an hour and 20 minutes, there's a triple header of matches to watch, a back-to-back-to-back of some good matches.
Yeah, we still do need crew for Gwen versus Cutie at 3:40 p.m. Eastern if you're interested. But yeah, welcome in Fringo and Idle. GG's gamers.
GG's.
GG's.
It was a really close one. It was looking like it was going to be very, very close. Idle did croc and got the charge beam. Fringo didn't. And Idle was looking to possibly be ahead. But the triple supers in the criteria and crate area super helped out. And then Idle, I don't know if you saw, but both movement items were behind the two boss checks that you skipped, which I think they're fine skips because realistically, high jump alone doesn't save you enough time to check a boss item, I don't think. And then it saves on baby skip, maybe, if you get it right. But, and then like,
not very consistent at baby
and then
skip
having high
anyway.
jump and checking, like only speed booster really saves you time after that. So it's a little, but you know, it's randomizer. I don't think they're bad either, because like it is a small investment for potential very big upside.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like if you're going to check those two items, then do you check like the active rec hip item on the way out? Do you? I mean, like there's all these other checks I could have made too. It's just like I have what I need, you know.
Exactly.
I kept on checking crate because I was sticking around for power bomb drops anyway.
Yeah, and I think that is like if you need crate drops, I think checking the boss becomes less time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a, one of those things where I think, it's not bad to check behind the bosses, especially if you feel like you're a player with a movement advantage that can make up time loss you'd get from those sword transitions as well. Because then it's safe against someone, spiking good items there for you. So I think it's like not bad to check them, but it is just unfortunate that, it didn't work out for you skipping them.
Yep, that's how Randall's going to be. Next time speed will be buried, or maybe it'll be a croc, and then I'd be way ahead. So.
Yep, that's how it goes sometimes. Other than that, it was a very interesting seed and race, I think. I think you guys both played it really well and both made really good decisions. How'd you guys feel finding Turian at the front of East Meridia?
I already felt pretty bad once I realized that I was going to have to visit the bottom of Kateri at some point. Like G4, finding G4, it's already. I mean, I guess if Kraid's there, it's good, better, but it's still.
Yeah.
It's still not good.
The way I was thinking about it is I don't think you feel that bad because it's really hard for someone to have made the play to have checked meme route in this seed.
Yeah, and I felt better thinking about it, realizing where Varia was. Like, oh, okay, there's no way that you could. Well, I guess you could, but it's very unlikely somebody did all the other bosses first, including the Lower Norfair boss with Varia in East Meridia.
Exactly, and then especially with like, there was no good because you just had so much to do every time you went back to Criteria, kind of thing that like. You never like ran out of like, well, like let's see what meme route is. You never really ran in that situation, so it seemed really unlikely that an opponent would have done that already. So I don't think you feel too bad about finding Turian there. But I think you guys both played it really well. Fringo did LN before Kraid, and you did Kraid before LN, and I think you guys each did what was better for you. Because in Fringo's situation, he's looking for ammo. So then you get the really fast LN ammo checks, like of Wasteland and Hoda Ruby and stuff like that. And then Mickey Mouse that are like kind of on the way to understand how much you want to check in Criteria kind of thing. Because like, if you do Criteria first and it's all missiles, it's like, do I check Billy Mays? Like, I don't want to do that if LN just ends up being all the supers kind of thing. And then since you had charge, I think you doing Kraid first routed a little bit more cleanly, but the information that Fringo could have gathered from doing LN first made it better for him to do it, which I think is a really interesting situation.
So was Speed behind Kraid?
Yes, and then High Jump was behind Ridley.
So, I mean, then Fringo would have gotten a little bit later. I mean, it wouldn't have been. I mean, it made a difference, but I don't know if it was the full 2 minutes or whatever the difference in the race was.
Possibly not, no. Possibly not, no. It would have been a lot closer, though.
Yeah.
Which, that is randomizer. I don't think it decided the outcome.
Croc was probably more than 2 minutes.
The charge did help for certain parts, for sure, though.
Oh, true. I didn't need ammo at the end, though. Yeah, I was good with 40, 45 supers or whatever. And I did a full beam combo. Like, I mean, a new route combo, felt like full beam combo.
Absolutely. Is there anything you wanted to say, Fringo? How are you feeling about the seed? Did you feel pretty good, or was that the Turian location something that made you feel kind of behind?
No, I had fun. To be honest, the Turian location was a little bit annoying. Also, the ammo hunt at the end was also annoying because I found only missiles at this point, and I checked already completely Lower Norfair, I guess. Then luckily at the end I found 2 or 3 packs of supers in Criteria, so that saves a lot of time at the end. But I had a lot of fun. I'm pretty happy with my routing. I mean, at the end it would be a little bit better when I did the Red Tower routing first, and then to go to Wreck Chip and do kind of stuff there. But I mean, at the end of the seed, you are always smarter. So it's like it's randomizer. So there are no bad decisions. So I'm pretty happy and satisfied with my gameplay, and of course with my routing.
Absolutely. I think in general, a lot of stuff in area is like 55-45 is what I like to call it. Like, there's some that might be slightly better if you like do the math of all the possible permutations, but like you can't really do that while you're playing, kind of thing. So there's a lot of like intuition of which one feels like it might be the 55 here, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. And I got a ton of E-tanks at the moment, so I guess that's the reason why I started to do the Upper Norfair checks. And
Yep. Yeah, I think the order that you did it, so what Idle did is Idle went back for the moat portal, and
Okay.
then followed West Meridia instead. So then he ended in the opposite way of the loop at like the bottom of Red Tower instead, and went out the Croc portal to do
Mhm.
Upper Norfair. But like the way it routed for you, doing that circle in reverse, it was more that it felt like you kind of had to do that Bubble Mountain, the Cathedral heated run kind of thing, because it's like it's so far back to get to the rest of Red Tower, and you have the health to do it pretty comfortably, kind of thing. So yeah, and it worked out pretty nicely for both of you. I don't think anyone necessarily gained an advantage there.
Yeah, I was really happy to find that Red Tower portal leaving West Meridia. That was the one portal I wanted.
It was the best Red Tower portal too, right in the middle.
Yeah, right next to the items that I missed that I had space jump for. It's just
Yeah.
I felt really
Yeah,
good around at that point, but then like later it's like, well, I did all these checks and didn't find Varia. Yeah, it's like, what if Ringo skipped some checks and
Yeah, that's the hard part with that. I don't mind. I think Croc is a weird one in that I think Croc is better the earlier you find it in a lot of situations. Because if you find it later, any item that you might be looking for, you're likely to be in a better situation to think about skipping that item in most cases, right?
yeah,
So, like,
it's just like I was kind of I actually had the mindset of if I find Croc early, I'm probably skipping to see if maybe the item's in Green Brand or maybe it's in Red Brand, but I'd already done both those.
Yeah,
and so it was
exactly.
either Upper Norfair or Wreck. I think I had the Wreck Ship. Did I have the Wreck Ship portal knowledge? I think I might have.
You did it. No, you did Croc and then checked the portal for the wreck ship, I believe.
Yeah, so it was just the Upper Norfair checks that I had left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually, no. You found Croc second. Sorry, you did check Upper Norfair. No. I forgot.
I
Yes.
think I did. I think I
You
did do
did Croc first,
first.
then found it. Yeah, because we were talking about how you didn't farm to full supers, and I was like, well, he's probably expecting to do like Upper Norfair heated runs, and he'll get full supers there, farming there. And then you found the back of wreck ship, and I think Zeb in chat said that's why that's a situation where you might have wished you farmed to full supers.
But at the same time, sitting there like, I really don't want to go down this road.
I agree.
Without,
there aren't very many good portals at the front for you in that situation, and you have all of Upper Norfair outstanding, kind of thing.
I remember part of the reason I did Croc is I wanted at least one more E-Tank in case I ran it early. I think I did have 5+1 going into that wreck ship portal. Maybe I could have done it, but
yeah,
it felt a lot better having 7 or 8+1 later. It was like,
and at the same time too, it's like the front. There's so many bad portals for you there.
Right.
That
like if it's not
with like Bubble Mountain outstanding and stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Just end up,
yeah, exactly. Like if the map was more open and you were missing more portals, I think it's a much better follow in that situation because the front can just lead you somewhere really good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, this is right there too. It's like I could do these 3 checks. I've got space jump, and then I can go back to.
Yep, exactly. I think you guys both played it very well in terms of decision making. And it was a really high level match, in my opinion.
Yeah, like near the end, we were talking about how you both did Ellen differently, ordered Ellen and Craig differently because of your situation. Like Fringo, you did Ellen first because you wanted the Ellen ammo information because you were in ammo mode, and then Idle you did Craig first because you had charge, so you can just do the more efficient route. So, but it wasn't that much more efficient. So yeah, both of y'all played a really really good match.
Yeah, God, it was a good race.
Yeah, it was. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks for racing. I really appreciate it. This tournament's great, and I love watching all of them.
Yeah. But yeah, any final words from y'all two before we move on?
Yeah, thank you guys for comms. Thank you for tracking. I think it's Fishing Boo. And thank you for the restream.
I don't.
Yeah, thank you as well. It's good to watch back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, thank you, Cutie, for excellent co-commentator, being my excellent co-commentator, and thank you both, Fringo Fox and idlechild, for an excellent race. And of course, shout outs to our excellent tracker, Fishing Boo. And yeah, thank you all, and there will be more races restreamed later today. We've got Zeb versus Iron Rusty at 1:10 p.m. Eastern in just over an hour on SG4. Eddie versus Diggy Diggy Dang, hopefully to follow that. And then a bunch of other races on some other channels later today and tomorrow. We hope we'll see you for those. And yeah, QD, take us out.
Yeah, appreciate everyone for racing. Appreciate MM2 for putting this tournament together. This mode is fantastic. A lot of depth to it. I think it's the highest skill randomizer mode, and I think it's the tracker on the stream is going to make this much easier to follow. There's so much to learn and figure out. There's so many techniques you need for this mode to play it as best as possible. I think it is by far the best randomizer mode Super Metroid has ever had, and it's actually made me very interested in randomizer. So I'm really excited for this tournament, even just to watch.
Yeah, thank you all for watching. We will see you next mission.